You're watching Suckprofessor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by...
James.
Hey, James. Look at us. It's Walking Dead season... Say it.
7.
You've passed the first test. What's the name of this episode?
The day will come when you won't be.
Oh, boy. That's the worst title of a show I've ever heard, but you know what? It's appropriate. Holy shit. We just watched it. Mm-hmm. Exciting to have the show back, but goddamn, that was an emotional episode.
I just want to crawl into bed and not wake up.
Well, do it in your bed. Leave me out of this. Oh, James, God, look at your arm. You've got a bite mark. Oh, no. That is trouble. Oh, God. Let's just get moving on here, James. By the way, everybody, spoilers. We're going to ruin the shit out of this, just so you know, fair and square. All right, James, you excited?
Very.
Let's get to the screenshots. So, there we go. We open on Rick. He's sweaty. He's gross. He's got blood on his face, which we assume is blood. And of course it is. What else would it be? Jelly? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
the last thing we saw from the prior season was Rick and his gang corralled up in a circle, kneeling down with Negan walking around, pointing Lucille, the baseball bat with barbed wire on it, at each one, going eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We don't know who he's going to hit. Yeah. So what they were doing was trying to get Maggie to a hilltop where there was a doctor that could help her. Yes. They were racing through the woods at night. They got surrounded, and then that's what happened. And then the guy took a big swing. So this will reveal who died. Who was it? Right.
Well, we'll see.
But the big thing here is that you can see the bat's already bloody, and Rick is already having an exchange with him where Rick delivers a line, "I'm going to kill you. Maybe not today, not tomorrow, but I will kill you." Yeah. So they come right in after the event has happened, but we still don't know who it was. We're kind of jumping ahead in the timeline. Yeah. I just backed up one screenshot. Yeah, I think that's where he said it right there. Yeah, and so, by the way, filling up some of the Negan dialogue, because he's kind of he's one of these leader guys. This is him right there. He loves to pontificate and strut about, swing his big barbed wire covered dick around, and impress everybody with his words and his confidence, and he always knows what to say, and he's even got nice teeth for the apocalypse. Yeah, he's the leader of the Saviors. The Saviors, yeah. They're just a bunch of goons. They're like, they're like a cast excuse me, central casting for goons. What is he saying to him though? He's what's Negan going on about? I think at this point he's talking about... he asked about his weapon. Well, he asked about his weapon and he said, "What do you use?" It's a hatchet. But he kind of talks off screen to a guy named Simon, and he says, "Oh, you know, Simon is my right-hand man." Of course, we know Simon is played by Stephen Ogg, who is Trevor in Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, also plays a guy in Westworld. Yes, he does. He gets around. Yeah. So he's saying a right-hand man is a very important person to have, because without him, you find yourself doing a lot of work. Yeah. So he's saying, "Rick, did you have a right-hand man? Or is that one of the..." And I think he says, "Was that the person I..." Or something like that. And like, did I kill your right-hand man? Yeah. He's having a good time with it. He's playing a lot of torture games with Rick. He's trying to get into his head. He's trying to screw with him. And so he says, "Get me his hatchet. Go get me his axe," or whatever. And so somebody goes and grabs it, and he gives it to him. And then he holds it up, and he goes, Yeah, there's this really tense scene right here, because what did you say when you saw that? Because he's talking about right-hand man, and he's holding up an axe. You're saying, holy crap, he's going to cut off his right hand. Yeah, I thought he might just chop off Rick's right hand. And I have to ask you, why did you think that? Because he brought up the right hand and in a psychopath, I consider myself a psychopath who has yet to turn evil. Did you know that in the comics, Rick's hand is gone? No, what? That's... Much earlier on. Really? Not by Negan. No, I had no idea. And I can't remember if it's his right or left hand. I'm not a comic reader, but I do kind of try and fill myself in on things briefly. Yeah. But I think for the show, they decided not to do it because it'd be too expensive and too laborious to green screen out his hand for every episode. Yeah, and you can't. Not everybody gets to have a Jamie Lannister golden glove. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think comic readers are probably like, holy crap, are they really going to go there now? Okay. Or did their budget get big enough that they're willing to do this now to present Rick? So I was a little bit, I was tense the whole time that this was about to be where they get caught up on the comic book. I was on the edge of my seat this whole freaking time. Yeah, this was a tense show, man. I mean, it was some of this I'm not even sure we can put on YouTube. It's so like it'll come up. I'm going to do it anyway, but yeah. So he's like, "All right, you're going to come with me, bitch." And so he gets up and he's just being menacing. And Rick is kind of I thought these guys are oddly compliant. I know they just got their buddies killed and they're all terrified and tired and shit. So he drags Rick into the RV, and I'm thinking one-on-one. That's not smart. Even if he doesn't know how dangerous Rick can be, you don't go in without your goons. What's the point of having goons if you're going to go trap yourself in a small cave with another man who has a lot of reason to go crazy on you? Yeah, and bear in mind when you're looking at the scene right here, look at what time of day it is.
It's midnight.
It's pretty dark.
It's very dark. It's middle of the night. Probably morning-ish. It's probably like 2 or 3 or something.
And he says to his people, is like something, I forget what the line was exactly, but it says something like, either Rick will be back or he won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he implies that something is going to go down inside that RV.
Yeah, as certainly something, well, in and outside the RV. So they drive off, the camera pans down further, and what do we see? A gross, bloody pile of spilled... But that's just, it's supposed to be brains. What do you think they used for the effects?
I don't know.
Jelly? Probably some kind of gelatin.
Fish guts or something? I don't know.
Fish guts? There's a bunch of roe.
But that's pretty much confirmation for us that what we suspected did happen.
Yeah.
Someone bit the dust.
Somebody definitely got taken out. I heard that movies will use popcorn and dye. Like, because popcorn turns funky, but it's not going to fuck you up if you swallow it.
Yeah, I mean, that could be cotton candy with red dye on it or something.
It
could be cotton.
Looks like gelatin, maybe they got some deer meat or something. Yeah. I don't know. So boom, cut to the opening sequence. We don't have every screenshot from that. This is my favorite. This has been in every episode of every intro. I just like thinking that that's just some guy that lives in South Carolina who lost his keys or something, or lost his car and had to walk home.
Yeah, film it in Georgia, though.
Whatever the fuck, Georgia, same difference.
How dare you.
They were driving by. All right, it's all hurricane weather. Okay, so boom, we're in the RV, and he goes and he slams it down.
And the first thing I'm thinking about that is like he's testing Rick. He's inviting him to grab it.
Yeah.
And he just sits there with his back to him, but you can see his eyes are clearly in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, well, yeah. After he puts it in the table, he sits in the driver's seat. Yeah. There he is. There's the rearview mirror. You can see him, and he's kind of giving Rick a bunch of this shit about the specific dialogue is totally gone from my head.
But he basically verbalizes it after a couple 10 seconds. He's like, "Go ahead, Rick, grab it. Your best shot now is to come at me and plant it in the back of my head. Go ahead, go for it."
Yeah, yeah. He's really testing him, and this is a close-up shot. This is nice. So I'm going to change that to my OkCupid profile picture. And there it is. The axe. He's really tempted. It does seem like this. I mean, you could take an impulsive moment of anger, and I mean, he has every reason to chop this fucking guy's handsome teeth out of his head. And Rick goes for it, but he gets up real quick. He's got a gun. Don't you dare, Rick. How dare you, you piece of shit. You're not faster than me. I'm confident, and I have a red scarf, which makes me kind of cool, and a leather jacket. That's why the girls like me and want to be my boyfriend. I mean, girlfriend. Right, James? That's pretty much what he said.
Yeah, then he socks him in the gut and says, "Don't make me stand up again."
Yeah, hits him, right?
Yep, puts him back down on the floor.
So he's constantly trying to put Rick in his place because he doesn't believe that Rick is given up or that he's turned him.
Right,
or that
he hasn't broken Rick yet.
Broken is definitely the right word to use. So yeah, he tells him that shit, and he's just kind of got all his overconfident asshole demeanor about him. But this whole sequence, I think this is where... Yeah, we kept cutting to... We don't have screenshots of every single moment, but what was he saying to Rick in this shot?
Well, at this point, we don't know who's been killed.
Yeah, right. We still don't know.
And Rick has these flashes back to what happened before, and we see these little quick flashes of Rick remembering it, and it plants the seed in our mind. Was this the person that died? Was this the person that died?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yes, totally. And so we actually see everybody. Like, they kind of go through.
Yeah, that happens a little bit later where we see, like, the whole gambit of everyone.
Yeah, that's in this whole sequence coming up here, I think. Right, so that's what he's doing. And so Rick is kind of imagining, I guess is the right way to say it, the different people getting killed, or...
Yeah, he's kind of dazed out right now. Like, he can't quite collect his thoughts, and he's just flashing back and running the events over in his mind over and over, and we're seeing little snippets of that.
Yeah, and the RV is moving, so they're driving somewhere because he's hitting zombies, and he's going, ha-ha, yeah, take that, ha-ha.
Yeah, and when the head explodes, like right there, he says, "Hey, Rick, remind you of anyone you know?"
Yeah.
Which is pretty insensitive, but he's Negan again.
He's a little insensitive.
Yeah, he's not taking Rick on a joyride now.
Right,
he's trying to break him.
Yeah, that pamphlet at the church about being nice to people didn't sink in.
Yeah. And this kind of he's like a sinister Willy Wonka on the tunnel ride.
He's just taking him through a tour of
hell. World of imagination.
The world of brain destructionation.
Yeah.
And so, but he's like, cuts to Glenn, and we're like, oh, fuck, Glenn. But then they kept cutting to all the other people during this kind of Rick's imaginings here. And so he sits down, and he's, I don't remember what he says exactly, but he's just giving him the business, and these monsters are gathering outside. He opens the door. Oh, that's right. He picks up the axe, right? And he tosses it on the roof.
Well, yeah, and I think he's saying, I may be wrong about this, but he does say this at some point. I think he starts saying, you were really an important person before. You were running the show, but you're not that anymore. You need to let go of the fact that you're not that anymore. You belong to me now. And he basically says, this is my axe.
Yeah.
Now go get my axe. Yeah. After he throws it up on the roof.
Yeah, this is the go make me a sandwich, bitch type of moment here. So he tosses it on the roof and he opens the door. And zombies are crying and like, hey, you want to buy some taffy apples? And so he forces Rick to get out there. Of course, he's battering a couple of them off here and there. And he's like, motherfucker, go get my axe. Or I will put my bat, which symbolizes my barbed wire penis, in your face again.
And the other thing to know about Negan is that in the comics, every other word out of his mouth is an F-bomb.
Oh, he's like me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But obviously AMC can't do that. So they've toned him down.
Obviously.
Yes, they've toned him down quite a bit.
Yeah, they made him sinister, handsome, gray-bearded, and violent, tall, and lean.
Yeah, so every time he yells, go get my axe, my head is just saying, he's supposed to be saying, go get my effing axe.
Can you say fucking?
No, I can't.
Why not?
It's against your
moral principles?
My code.
Who are you, Luke Skywalker?
Yes.
Grow the fuck up.
Nope.
You fucking jerk.
I refuse.
James, you fucking refuse?
I don't.
Hey, James, what begins with an F and ends with a UCK?
Fire truck.
No.
Yeah, fire truck does begin with an F and ends... Yes, it does.
No, it's fuck.
No, it's fire truck.
It's fuck. You fuck. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't be so insulting. If you really had a moral code, you would have murdered me for slandering you.
Oh, it's coming.
Constantly. So Rick decides to, all right, fine. Rick is kind of... A big thing we see in this episode is Rick realizing he doesn't have any options. Mm-hmm. That he has to basically do what Negan tells him to do, right? Right. And so he's sort of like, okay, but he's still having these imaginations. And all these shots, these people are getting bonked. Like, she got nailed here, right?
I don't think that happened right at this moment.
Really? That was later?
Yeah, I think he's...
Oh, these are threatening moments.
Yeah, I think those are threatening moments, not actual hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the whole point is that he keeps... There's a reoccurring thing he says to Rick, is like... you remember what happened. You know what could still happen. Yeah. So, which is a threat saying, don't try and pull any funny stuff out here because I still have your people. They're still back there. And the people that are still alive could no longer be alive based on the actions that you make in this RV or out on this field.
Yeah, correct. Maybe that's what was going on in this shot. No, this was different. This was it. Okay, so I do think it might be real close to this next sequence, though. The part where it flashed to all them getting hit. Because what I want to talk about that for is I think that might have been what, like here, it could be, where they filmed everybody getting hit in the head, right? That was the thing at the end of last season because they didn't want it to get leaked to who got murdered because that was supposed to be this giant secret. And that's a smart way to keep it secret, is to kill everybody in separate camera setups. Is that correct? That's how they did it?
Yeah, they did it in separate, just to kind of keep people guessing, so the people who are on the set at the time can't possibly leak what it is because they don't know which death is going to be real at that point. Yeah, although we definitely saw some pretty real, more... We'll get to that later. It's fine. Yeah, and we know that this happens along this scene because it's when Rick really starts going Rambo against the zombies that starts happening, and that's about to go down. Yeah,
he staggers out, he falls, but then all of a sudden the zombies are on him, of course, because they're fucking zombies, and he's like, oh shit, and Rick's getting up, it's scary, it's foggy, so these little flashbacks, and it all happened pretty quick. It's tough to get screenshots for it all because it comes up, but Rick, of course, he's got his axe, he's out there, brains, and Rick's like, no, fuck off. That's this is, what's his name, Aaron,
I think this is where Aaron gets hit.
Aaron gets hit in this shot, I believe, but it's all it's all just kind of going real quick. Rick is sort of just tapping into this, I guess he's fantasizing, right? I mean, he knows who's dead in the storyline. We don't know.
But he's thinking about, again, that line is like, there's what happened now, what happened before, and what could still happen.
Yeah, he's like imagining the same thing that he just witnessed to happen to his friends or to somebody,
and I guess
to everybody.
He feels an obligation to survive here because he knows he still has a sense of duty to protect those who are still around.
Correct. Right. And this guy has a sense to listen to his parents. Hey, brush your teeth, okay, fuckface. And there she goes. That's Maggie. She's having a real bad day, worse than most people. I guess not the dead ones. And so Rick gets around to the back of the RV, climbs up, of course, give me that foot. Rick, eventually staggers off. There's Daryl looking all stringy-haired, and that's actually a shot at him at lunch. That wasn't even filmed during the show. No, actually. Boom, Rick gets off, and he gets on top. He's out to the relative safety of the top of the RV, climbs up. There's the thing. They're blocked on the road.
Well, it looks like what Negan did was he drove right through a barricade.
No, but no, he didn't drive through that. They stopped.
No, are you sure?
Yeah.
No. It looks like it's broken open.
No, but it's still way more than an RV could get through. Trust me.
But if you think about,
no, but this is where the bridge scene with the hanging guy was. Remember when Aaron and they came upon a big pile of logs that they burned? Yeah, that was in the previous season.
Oh, yeah, and he was hitting the undead walker guys as he was coming up to it. So you think he just stopped there?
Yeah, he stopped at this. They were going forward. He didn't drive through this pile of look. You're saying he drove through that?
Yeah, it's a very strong. It's practically a tank.
You can pull back. You can admit you goofed it. You don't have to come up with nonsensical.
He used Rick Grimes magic.
No, of course he didn't. But no, do you remember Aaron?
Yeah. They blocked the road so he couldn't get.
But
to
it was
the hilltop.
before the trees were on fire. It was these things are all charred and burned.
Yeah, which makes them easier to drive through.
Shut up. Still, they have to be completely out of the way. You could break through a few of them, maybe, or maybe a lot at really, really fast speed. But most vehicles aren't real capable of doing that.
So what's Rick really doing? He's standing on top of the thing. He's surveying what's around him.
He's assessing his surroundings. Now, I said what he should do is grab this axe, start smashing all the windows on the RV, and hopefully the zombies would flood themselves into the RV and fuck up Negan.
Yeah, because of course Negan can't shoot from inside.
Yeah, confidence only gets you so far. Look where it's gotten me, James.
Yeah, and the problem is, I think the reason he knows that he can't go after Negan is because he knows that his loved ones, his group, is still being held captive.
Yes.
So
the hostages is really the power that
he is powerless in this sense.
Yeah, and so he's looking around. Of course, he's been in trouble before. This is the guy that was hanging, and we did see him. Remember?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we recalled him. You saying that he crashed through the logs is what helped me remember this whole scenario with the guy hanging and stuff. So he's like, give me a hug. I'm so sad.
He's really saying it's awesome how you crashed through those logs.
He's going, listen to James, even though he sometimes warps his way into a weird logic circle, but lacks the... okay, I was going to say something mean. All right, there she is. She gets killed. I mean, in this little fantasy moment there, not really killed. But Rick is looking. He sees him. He's got the bloody nose and the cheek face. There's the guy hanging. Oh, crap. And it starts to kind of hit him emotionally, especially with the next one. Because who is it? Old long-hair Carl. Or as his friends call him, Crazy Carl.
It is Coral.
Coral! There's been... The Great Barrier Reef is filled with coral. Sorry.
Not so much anymore. It's all dying.
Well, it's all dead now. It's bleached. But of course, his son's in trouble, even though he only has one eye. I don't know what that has to do with it. But so he kind of gets down on his knees. He crumbles and he turns over. He's scared. He's fucked up. He's worried. He's overwhelmed. He's stressed. He's Rick Grimes. But James, of course, I never doubted Rick. Yeah. He has earned my trust. Has he earned yours?
Yeah, sure.
Just like I've earned yours. Now let's move along.
So now he's remembering. This is it.
Oh, right. So now we travel into his eyes, right? So now we're back into the scenario. We've jumped back a little bit to the darkness before, same night, but earlier.
Yeah, and you were assessing the situation, saying that the blood on his face is on the right, which means that whoever got killed had to be to his right.
Yes. Thank you for... you reminded me about how smart I am. Yeah, so the splatter had to come from this side, because that was the side he was on. And then when it gets to here, no blood on his face. And I even said to James, I said, James, look at no blood on his nose. It's all kind of all right. And... boom, these guys are actually to Rick's left. Negan is like kind of gallivanting around. I guess slowly posturing. I don't know what the right word is there. There he is. Just being a dominant predator.
He's repeating the speech he gave at the end of the last season.
Repeating, or we're seeing the same speech again?
Well, he's not saying it twice. We're reliving that scene.
We're re-seeing that scene. Yeah, sure. There's the bat. What's the name of the bat? Lucille? Because it's a Lucille ball? And he plays baseball?
Sure.
With a baseball bat? He could have named it Pamela Anderson after the movie Barbed Wire. See what I'm saying, James?
Could have.
Think it fucking through, James. James, say the word fuck.
Nope. Damn.
There they are. This guy, oh boy, that looks like a Louisville. And she's like, well, good. Don't film me from below. And she's actually not. She's in great shape. She's really beautiful. Big red beard guy, he's got the walrus face. He's all obviously nervous.
That's Abraham.
Yeah, handling it like big strong men do. They just stare ahead and they get angry. Glenn's on his knees. That's the girl. Yeah, they're all fucked up. Crazy Daryl's had a rough day. And we got the gallery of goons in the back.
And the bald guy.
The bald guy. Like him, I am also a bald guy. And that's why he is so sexy and handsome and probably has back hair. There they go. Negan's just sort of menacing and threatening everybody. It's awful. It really sucks. It's like they're just in trouble. What's this guy? Eugene. That's right. He's my least favorite of the show.
I like him.
I like that he's different and he does have...
He's grown more than most characters in the show.
we do not have the time to do the thing with the thing, and I'm a mechanically thinking person. And it's like, fuck this guy. I don't like him. He's annoying. He got his ass kicked though, right? Like they beat him up real bad.
So basically, the whole time this is going on, Rick is sitting there knowing that a person that he's been protecting and I guess protecting is the best word. A person that's core to his group that he cares about is about to die, and there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, he's the leader. He's taking them all under his charge, his wing of protection. Yeah, and he's
freaking
apart.
out.
It's hard, and he's powerless. There's nothing worse than being powerless. That's what anger comes from. Frustration is the lack of power.
Yeah,
that's
and you can't charge your phone with your.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't go to Instagram and look at hashtag squats. What the fuck is wrong with me? It's like a road rage. You're in a car. It's like, I'd rather go. You're behind somebody. It's because someone else is making a decision for how fast you go, and that's why you start screaming at your 14-year-old Subaru, which you just paid off.
And we should
fucking air conditioning, and goddamn, one of the speakers doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, we should talk about the elephant in the room because of this scene right here. People know.
Oh, sorry. I'll pull my pants up.
Most people know that in the comics, there's a person who does die at this point in the story.
Yeah.
And we know that at this point in the story in the comics, it's Glenn that gets the bat.
Glenn, so, yeah, source material.
And it's important in the comics that Glenn gets killed because Glenn is a character everyone loves. He's been around from the beginning. And you saw when people thought he was dead earlier in the past season.
With the dumpster in the alley.
When he crawled on the dumpster, the fans revolted because they just couldn't accept that this character who everyone has a soft spot in their heart for got killed.
The show fans revolted.
Yes.
But the comic book fans knew that this was his actual...
Well, I mean, the comic book fans, myself included, not basically following the comics, but I knew that there's no way he could have been dead at that point because I knew how important his existence was in this scene.
Yeah.
Because in order to have a great villain, a villain that makes that you absolutely hate and want to see fall, he has to first establish himself. He has to take away something that matters to you.
Yeah.
And Glenn is that thing.
Well, yeah, according to the comic books.
Yeah, so I think that if it's not Glenn, then it takes a lot of power away from the character Negan. Negan cannot flourish if Glenn survives.
Okay, I see what you're saying as far as whether or not it's germane to the store or to the source material, but he could kill Maggie, he could kill Rosita, he could kill Michonne. I don't know why I'm going with all the women. but I'm saying, he could be just as evil, kill a bunch of people, kill Daryl, smash their heads, and that would still serve the function that you described of establishing his nefariousness and his evilness.
But the showrunners would be making it that much harder on themselves because they wouldn't be able to draw much from the future material from the comics because, as you know, Daryl is not in the comics.
Right.
So choosing to kill him here wouldn't make sense. Maggie's pregnant. And everything that built up with Maggie is like Maggie lost her father, her entire family, her brothers. She recently lost Beth. She has been going through absolute hell in this series.
Okay.
So having her lose Glenn would be a huge emotional blow to her,
absolutely.
Which will allow her to grow even more as a character and to step up. Because as you remember, in the past season, Rick was telling Maggie, I need you to be a leader from now on. I need you to talk to the people in my stead. I need you to rise up.
Yeah.
And she is coming into her own.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for it to be Maggie dying here would not only be horrible because it would be that much character progression lost because of that, but you'd be killing a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
That would be a hard blow for people to take.
That's pretty tough to do. And by the way, I just want to compliment you on your passion.
Okay.
It's really nice. You're like the William Wallace of explaining shit. So, but he's threatening. Is this where he's doing eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
I believe so.
Sort of a montage. He cuts to every actor. They all get a baseball bat to the face, pointed at the face. We missed it for her shot there. He does it to her, and they're all just kind of like, you fucking gonna hit me with my big furry beard? Walrus, you got any minnows I could eat for dinner? Daryl, Michonne, there's the bat on the right. Carl gets a little bat poke to the face. I mean, just, threatening close by. And no one's feeling comfortable. Everybody's pissed off. And look at that posture. He's making up his mind. And guess who he goes for?
This is when we know it's Abraham.
Yeah. So we cut to Abraham, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
This was difficult to watch because Abraham, like other characters, like Eugene, like Glenn. Well, not like Glenn. Abraham in the past season, I felt like he progressed a lot more than other characters. He left Rosita in favor of Sasha.
Yeah.
He redeemed himself. He reconciled with Glenn. I mean, not with Glenn, with Eugene.
Yeah.
and he started becoming a more human character. Before, he was just like this caricature of a one-liner guy.
Yeah,
he was just like the macho.
Yeah, he was like a G.I. Joe character that became a human.
But I think, like, he was softening up. He was showing more of who he was at the end of the past season. So to see him get chosen like this is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, and he's like, could I just have one last puff of my cigar and my fingerless gloves and my motorcycle and my... I'm trying to be cliche.
Yeah.
So Rick is like, oh crap, oh fuck.
Yeah,
so go ahead. Do you want to get to it?
Well, yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah, there he is.
And he gives the peace sign, and it looks like he's giving it to Sasha, and he's given that to her in past episodes too. Yeah. That's basically his way of saying, don't worry, it's going to be all right.
Like, I've made peace with this. But actually, what James has said is true, but I was thinking he was going to hold it over to her nose and go, smell my finger.
No.
Smell it. I put it in my armpit. Isn't it fucked up how crazy powerful that is?
Yeah, and you can see Rosita on the ground, how she's reacting to this, because she still loves him, even though he left her for Sasha.
Yeah. I mean, they're all survivors together. They all got to get along. And plus, she just doesn't like being near bald dudes. There's two of them. They're gathering. Yeah, totally. It's intense. And so all of a sudden...
Sasha, of course, reacting to it, because she loves him as well.
They both love him. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him. Want to see my reaction face? Ready?
I don't think they can see you.
Oh, fuck. They can't see me. Damn it. So, one last look at him. Rosita goes, whoa, no. And now they really just went for it. He goes whack, and he bonks him. Oh, it happened real quick. I missed it.
Yeah, at the end of the last season, we hear his dialogue after he hits the person saying, taking it like a champ. Still there.
Still there. That's right. That's right. So he hits him. And now, that's the thing. I was stupid earlier. The big puddle. I was like, oh, one hit did all that?
No, he doesn't just do one hit.
He's not a one-hit guy. So he's pretty dazed.
He's defiant as ever, though.
He sits back up. I mean, it didn't and I guess what would happen? I mean, your skull would shatter into a bunch of pieces and enter your brain.
I mean, he's got a thick skull. So
he's got a big old thick, dumbass guy skull. Yeah, and what hey, change by the way, I just want to I played rugby in college, okay, everybody? I quit because it was too painful. A guy who tried to punch me because I tried to tear his shorts off. He ripped my shorts, and so I tried to rip off his shorts. This is in the middle of like a rugby match.
It sounds like the start of a bad porno.
Well, then it was start of a long, painful, and he took a big swing at me, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not that guy. Still want to rip off his shorts. I hate that motherfucker.
Yeah, so let's take a step back. What does he say to Negan?
Who?
Abraham.
Oh, he says...
his final lines.
I don't remember.
Suck.
Oh, yeah. Say it. Call it a B word. You can't even say balls.
He doesn't say that. I thought he says the N word.
Nuts.
Yes.
Wait, what's the N word?
Nuts.
He doesn't say the N word. He doesn't go suck my...
No, nuts. It's an N word.
Nuts? Yeah, but James, when you say the N word, you gotta say what begins with an N and ends with a UTS.
There are many N words. There's tons of N words.
There's lots. Okay. I hope. Okay. All right. We're gonna just push forward. Suck my nuts. Yes. Fair enough. By the way, there's still.
Or maybe he does say the. I don't know.
I thought it was balls.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, either way, you know what? Play with the bat. Play with the berries. Everybody. They all like to have a little turn at a little dance at the party. Wink, wink. You know what I'm talking about, James? Get it?
Sure.
All right. So there, Rick goes. Oh, we'll cut back to the top of the RV though, and Negan just starts wailing on him though, right? Now we're back at it here, and
he delivers this, taking it like a champ line, and then he starts just beating him into.
And he repeats the line. He goes. He said, "Suck my." He's just doing. He's very theatrical.
Yeah. He
leads with charisma and power, and because he looks like he could be overpowered by it. I mean, you know what I mean? That's what's interesting about leadership, and what's the other word for leadership? Not followership. And so but there he is. He's taking swings at him. He does have an actor's swing. You know when actors can't throw a baseball, and you're like, that guy's fucking doesn't doing it with real force.
Or it's like where someone's smoking a cigarette, and you can tell they don't smoke in reality because they're not holding it right.
Yeah, they're not holding. They're holding it with their toes. All right, so she's going, shit, oh, fuck. And he's like, no, god damn it. And Daryl's like, whoa, Daryl, where's my crossbone? Everybody's despondent. It sucks. It hurts. God, they turned him into a bucket of jelly.
Yeah, and at this point I said, now he's a real redhead. And Negan comes out with a line like that, too. He's like, now he's even more red than he was before, because I think he called him Red as a nickname or something like that.
Yeah, he called him Red. That old red hair. I got red-headed people in my family. I can't, and it's not grounds for divorce. I called a lawyer.
Yeah, so now we know there's no way that Abraham's coming back from that.
No, this is not.
That's the definitive shot that is over for Abraham.
A lot of guys are tough, but that's not one you can walk off. Rub some dirt in it. Just take a lap around the stadium. You'll be fine. No siree. He is, turning back into some of that fertilizer. He'll be bear shit in about 4 weeks. 2 weeks. So Rick is obviously sweaty and gross, and this is where he gets nailed with the blood.
Yeah, so Negan swings the bat through the air,
he kind of whips
the blood splatters across Rick's face.
Yeah, which we see a lot of this blood in this thing. Of course, it's not the same pattern as it's supposed to.
No, the continuity's not perfect.
Movie continuity is tough to pull off sometimes. Hey, you know what? I gotta forgive him. They forgive me. So he's going around still menacing everybody. He tells her to look at it, right? He really wants her to look at it.
Yeah, and I don't quite know how he pieces it together that he says, "Were you with him? Oh boy, that sucks."
Yeah, he saw her kind of just by how she was sort of behaving. I mean, you can he sussed it out. He's a good person reader. Like, he knows how to manipulate and read people.
So he's just basically mentally torturing everyone the best he can at this point.
Correct. Yes, exactly. And then Daryl decides to take matters into his own fist, and he leaps up and punches him. Yeah, take that! Look at the bald guy. He's like, hey, I'm bald.
Which was an incredibly dumb move that we're going to come to realize, because if you remember in the beginning of the last episode, the last season, Glenn reacts when he goes near Maggie. He jumps up and starts fighting, and he says, that one is a freebie. You get one free one.
Yeah, and his freebies are up.
And he says, that will not fly.
Yeah, but he didn't just immediately turn on Daryl. That's the thing with this guy, is he takes things as he's thoughtful about his evilness.
He takes his time to build up the tension.
Yeah, and he maximizes it, like he's not just a coiled spring who reacts to something. So he goes, no, because his boys want to take him down. He's like, just let him know. Now we're not going to do that. And so this all kind of comes up pretty quick, though, right?
Yeah.
They've got Daryl pinned down, though. This is the Daryl's...
It's Dwight that jumps up with Daryl's own crossbow and asks if he can take him out.
His nemesis, who Daryl's had some battles with him in previous episodes, right?
Yeah, Daryl actually saved him, and to thank him for that, he basically... steals his bike, steals his crossbow, and leaves him to die.
Is that how he got the pizza face? Is that from Daryl?
No. It's assumed that Dwight was running away from Negan and the Saviors when we first meet him in The Walking Dead.
Oh.
And then the Saviors reacquire him, and I think they pretty much like held his face to a stove or something like that to punish him for his betrayal.
Yeah. Okay, held his face to a stove. That old move.
Or a fire or something.
Yeah,
a skillet. Yeah. Whatever you want to do. Hot Pocket.
A George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
A waffle iron. All right, so they're holding him down. He's got the crossbow. He tells them, "Don't do it." And he's like,
he says, "You don't get this guy."
Yeah, you don't get this. This is not right now. He is a kill later guy. So he makes him take him off, and they drag him off. Do we see the part where they do what they do with Daryl? I think that might be...
No, that happens a lot later.
That's a lot later. Okay, so...
Yeah, so this scene had me worried because you're dealing with a shot where the main character is not in the center. There's a lot of negative space to the right, and look who we see right under him. So I kind of knew what was going to happen.
Sure. It seemed like, it wasn't a total shocker. It was...
Because I was disappointed that they killed Abraham and not Glenn.
Yeah.
Because I felt like Abraham was a great character, and I hate to see him go, but it didn't have the emotional oomph that would really give birth to the Negan character.
Yeah, and at this point, James was rocking back and forth on the couch going, Glenn, gotta kill Glenn, gotta fucking kill Glenn.
No, see, I don't want Glenn to die. I love Glenn as a character, but I know that Glenn has to die.
Yeah, I know. You totally get the rationale behind why they need to kill Glenn. Also, check it out. You know why he's angry? He lost all his pens. They're not there anymore. They were probably .2 millimeter uniballs. Those are my favorites. So, Eugene is like, I'm puffy-faced and old and fat. It sucks.
Eugene was he loved Abraham. That was his companion.
I could never grow a big red beard. No, but he's cool. Yeah.
So Eugene is feeling more pain than even Rosita or Sasha at this point.
Yeah. Oh, I think boom, that was it.
Yeah,
it snuck up on us in our recap, and it snuck up on us in the show too. But as James explained, so you were not surprised that he turned on Glenn.
No, I was relieved that it happened, but again, sick that it happened.
I said turned on Glenn. And so smack. Oh gosh, that's not okay. And these guys are just look at this guy's reaction. Whoa, gross. That's no good. Even the bald guy had a reaction to it, but everybody was stunned, and because I was a little surprised. I mean, I sort of suspected it was going to be Glenn, but
I don't think anyone expected a double kill.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking two. But then I was like, oh, he's punishing them for what Daryl did.
And imagine how Daryl must feel about that.
Yeah, well...
Because Glenn was the one who originally stood up and got the freebie, but now he's getting the punishment for Daryl lashing out.
Would you say with confidence that he would not have killed Glenn had Daryl not done that?
Probably.
Probably wouldn't have killed
Probably would not have.
Yeah.
So I think this is something Daryl's going to have to reconcile in the coming episodes and live with and accept that he's the cause of Glenn's death.
Well, the good news is for Daryl, the solution to all problems is just a dark, brooding stare over the shoulder.
Yeah,
and then riding off in a huff on a bicycle.
How he's going to face Maggie again, I don't know.
Yeah, well, who knows? She's, we'll see. She's got, oh, shit!
Yeah, and this is the point where he realizes what he's done.
Yeah. Daryl is going, oh crap, I shouldn't have punched him, or I should have punched him harder.
And I was actually thinking Daryl was going to be killed in this episode too, because he's got his own motorcycle show on AMC going on. He's become a bigger star. He's become less important to the narrative because Carol is out of the picture.
Oh yeah.
His growth and development has kind of tapered off. So I was thinking, okay, this is the perfect time to exit as a character to go to pursue other things.
So you're saying Daryl will die at a later episode this season?
I hope not now, but you know, I that's where I kind of saw it going. Yeah. So if there was going to be a double killing, I was thinking it was going to be Daryl and Glenn.
Yeah. Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus, yep.
Reedus?
Reedus.
With a D?
With a D.
Oh, yeah. Why did I say that? All right, so Rick's like, oh, fuck, this happened again. Oh, no, this is the part that's horrifying.
This is pretty hard, because in the comic book, his eye did pop out.
Yeah.
And Negan is Negan is saying, like, oh, boy, I hit you, your eye's popping out. That is disgusting.
Yeah, he's going that, yeah.
And what infuriates me about this is that he lets him sit in the state for a good long time, suffering, and he's gurgling, and you can hear him saying, like he's trying to say Maggie.
Oh, right, yeah. I thought he was trying to say McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I'm not loving it. But his brain is all destroyed. I mean, you know, he's alive still. His autonomous nervous system is functioning, and Negan is getting into his face, being an asshole.
And letting him sit there like that and suffer and look at Maggie and force Maggie to look at him like that.
Yeah.
That's inhuman.
Yeah, he's seeing triple. Boy, that sucks. And he's got like the concaved head busted in there, so his frontal lobe is all fucked. I know, I'm just...
You don't need to look at that.
It's crazy, though. It's wacky. I wonder, like, on set, that if he was walking around being funny. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I would have crawled down into the porta potties and watched people piss. Yeah. So there she goes. She's like, oh, God, it sucks. It hurts. He's like, oh, fuck, my wife's upset, but she's got a good reason to be because I'm dead. And, you know, Negan, he recognizes that they were a thing, right?
Yeah. And there's, sadly for the fans, there's no dumpster for him to crawl under this time. There's no Deus Ex Mach dumpster. And Negan starts pounding on him, and he takes him out. Which came as a relief that he finally put him out of his misery after being stuck like that for so long. Yeah, leaving him to sit there and just like kind of jitter around was sort of bad. And now Rick is really getting overwhelmed back on this at the top of the thing. Daryl is obviously feeling upset. Rosita's not having a good day. That's Maggie. She's upset. This is Sasha. She's like, no, Eugene, old heartless TI-83 calculator Eugene is having a bad time. Carl, oh no. And, good shot. That's a good screenshot.
That is a good one. He is...
That's poster material.
You know, like those cool slow motion things? Poster material. You're whack. Yeah. Those slow motion things where they put liquid on drums or speakers, bassy speakers. Those are pretty cool. So there he is. Smack! Wow, this one's going to be gross. James, close your eye.
Yep.
Ooh, boy. And his hand was still twitching, too.
Yeah.
Here it is, James. How's that going to haunt your nightmares for the rest of the...
It's pretty disturbing, yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to show my family this whole video at Thanksgiving dinner.
And you can see the gore and the skin and tissue hanging off of Lucille.
The barbed wire picked up a piece of the brain skin, head skin, scalp. So even Aaron is not feeling good. Rick, oh God, he sucks. Back into things. So not a lot of time has really gone on. This really is kind of...
And at this point, you can hear Negan inside the RV. And what's he yelling?
Bring me my axe.
Well, after that.
Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
He says, you thought you were going to grow old together with your people, that you were going to sit down and have a feast or after this was all over. Well, that's not going to happen. This is not how the world works, Rick. Now bring me my axe.
Yeah. He's a new god. He's explaining the reality to him, but then he starts shooting. You see, these are backed up a couple.
Yeah, because Rick is not. He's not bringing him the axe. He's not he's kind of just like shooting at his feet in a sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of figuring where he might be and trying to scare him probably too, and probably doesn't really want to kill him quite yet.
Well, I mean, if he does kill him by mistake,
sure, that's
no biggie.
That's a thing. He's not going to worry about it. And so Rick grabs it and he takes off. And does he? Yeah, he picks up the axe right there. You can see it in his hand, and it'll come up a little bit later. And he runs. And what does he do?
It's not immediately clear to me why he is doing this, though.
I just assume...
Is this him trying to commit suicide, or just trying to get away from Negan because he doesn't want to be shot on the top of the RV? Is this an impulsive reaction that he's having?
Yeah, I mean, he's under a lot of stress. People don't always make the right choice.
Yeah, why wouldn't he just say, I'm coming, or something like that? And
I make bad choices all the time, and I'm pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get motivation for this.
Well, I assumed as soon as he reached him that of all the outs he had, climbing up this chain would have been it. So I think he was going to kill the guy. Maybe, let's back up one, maybe his plan was to hack him with the axe, right? He's holding it, so he loses the axe somewhere in here.
But he knows that he can't go against Negan because Negan has his people.
True. I see what you're saying. Yeah, like he has to comply with Negan. Okay, so yeah, you're right. Though I don't know. So
and the whole time this was happening, I was saying the zombie's head's gonna rip off.
Yes, James goes, his head's gonna. I was like, what? He was like, oh,
because the pressure. I mean,
and then the weight pulling down. I didn't connect that. That's how you meant it would work. I thought you meant like, I don't know. I have no idea. So another bald guy. Oh god, that's
one of the first things that happens when the body decomposes. The hair sloughs off.
The hair sloughs off.
Sloughs. Yep.
That happened to me when I was alive. Horrible.
All at once.
All at once. Yeah, I just went to brush my beautiful hair out of my eyes, and it came off in a giant handful. And I was on a date, and I just held it, and I slowly turned my hand over, and it landed on her spaghetti. All right, so give me your boots and your legs and your blood. I'm a zombie. And the prophecy came true. Yeah. His head was being pulled off. Ouch. And Rick's looking up going, oh, fuck, James was right. And then he gets dragged down and he can't take it. And they're pulling him. But, of course, gosh.
So this is certain death for Rick.
It's certain death. He's not going to pull a Glenn Dumpster move here. He's holding on to the guy and he's going, why did you have to wear the North Face? I told you those don't fit you really well. And they're grabbing him. And, of course, what happens? Negan shows up with his gun, so we get a whole bunch of zombie heads exploding.
Yeah, so he basically saves Rick. He doesn't want to kill Rick, he wants to break Rick.
Yes, thank you. Well said. That's the summary of the episode. And boom, Negan's got good aim, he's handsome, all that other stuff. There he is. Hey, Rick, you better hurry up. Your time's running out. And so he hits the window, it closes. Rick is like, okay, crap. And Rick's crawling away. He's on a big pile of bodies right there, And then so we're back to, I don't know what the fuck that is. It look like legs. I think that's the RV.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I think that's the scene where the blurry vision.
A flashback.
Yeah, a flashback to the horror that Rick just experienced.
So Rick's crawling, but now the axe happens to be in a nice clear spot. Which is fine. And so Rick crawls over to it. He gets the axe and he starts warring back. I'm Rick. I'm not going to fucking... And then, of course, he crawls right by the guy's head. That was funny. That's hilarious. I always thought it'd be funny to have zombies in like an aquarium, like as a pet. Although that was
like
already...
the governor.
Like the governor. Yeah. But those are like wet. I mean like dry aquariums, like a terrarium.
Not the wet aquarium. I see what you mean.
Yeah, like a terrarium. Like, and then every once in a while you toss a mouse in there and let them out, like, kind of like giving crickets to a tarantula. All right, well, look, and then he goes, hack, die, zombies, and he's running back and he's fighting, and they're kind of pushing him, but of course he's Rick, he's not going to get killed, and he manages to get it all the way to the door, slice, slice, cut, cut, chop, chop, choke, choke. What was this?
There's some sort of, like, frog-like nastiness bubbling out of that thing's throat.
Let's back up. Oh, I see. Yeah. So okay, you're right. Yeah, it was already on his throat. I just thought that it was a dangling belly organs, and for some reason Rick grabbed him and lifted them up.
It's like a pus-filled boil or something like that.
A shiny corpuscle.
Yeah, because we know these zombies are like kind of in a swampy type area, woods and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I guess
about BO.
That could happen.
Boy, I hope they all put on deodorant before they go to work, and just like I do. So Negan opens the door, Rick goes climbing in, and he's fine, but now Negan immediately turns his back. That's this shot right here. And I'm like, just fucking... I know he's got the hostages.
Because he knows that, he knows that Rick is powerless to do anything, even in that sense, so he doesn't even feel the need to turn around. That's how confident he is.
Makes me angry. So he turns and he's like, all right, give me the axe. And Rick goes, okay, fine, I'll give you the...
No, give me my axe.
Oh, yeah, give me my axe. That's right. And of course he does, and he's like, sit down. He's like, ha, what are you gonna do? And of course he hammers it into the thing, and off they go. Well, what does he say to him? Is there anything you gotta be mentioned?
I think this is where he kind of gives the speech more fleshed out. Like you were hot crap back in the day. You had a group. Things aren't going to be that way anymore, but you can still live a productive life serving me.
Yeah.
You belong to me. This axe is mine.
Yeah.
All that kind of thing.
So right. Thank you. So they drive off, and there they go. They gotta sweep those leaves off the thing after they filmed. And boom, Rick is just in there. He's just sort of tired too. He's asleep, but I don't think he was asleep. But he's just kind of overwhelmed. And Negan comes over, gives him a whole thing, and he looks for. He goes, here it is. You guys have been prepared. Because this is their RV, right?
Yeah, this is I believe this is Rick's RV.
Yeah, this is the community's. Alexandria was where they were living, right? Yeah, the town.
Actually, I might be wrong about that. That might be Negan's RV, because I think when we first see Negan, he's emerging from that RV.
Yeah, because they stole it from Eugene.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah, right.
Good memory.
Yeah. Eugene was going to be the distraction.
You're absolutely
in the RV.
right.
That's why Eugene got beat up.
I forgot about that.
He was alone. I'm so scared of Eugene. And then so I thought it was weird that he was cleaning the axe. So that was interesting. I was like, wow, this guy's really psycho, because he's like using it was rubbing alcohol,
because he's got plans for it later on, which we're gonna talk about immediately. But
no, right. Well, I like that this detail of him cleaning the axe.
It's foreshadowing. Yeah, it
meant something. Like it wasn't just to purely show that he cleans.
And what does he say when he finds the rubbing alcohol?
You tell me.
Oh, goody.
Oh,
something like that.
That's me when I find an egg roll. Goody. And so he puts the axe right in his face, and he's just like, oh man, oh boy, I was so angry. What does he say to him?
Something like almost as something to imply that Rick is now subservient to him. He's like, here's the axe, take it, giving him the weapon while making Rick understand that he can't use it against him.
Yeah.
He's like, here's some power, but you're still powerless because you're not going to do jack.
Yeah. Yeah, or else everybody dies. He knows that he can't be. He'll protect his friends.
Yeah.
All right. So commercial, black screen. Okay. Now Rick gets tumbled, pushed out of the thing. They're back at the camp. It's morning.
Which to me, I mean, I know that when it's like early morning and it's dark, not a lot of time needs to pass for it to get brighter.
Yeah.
But the fact that it kind of implies they've been gone for at least a little while, which means that they've been kneeling around the dead bodies of two people they loved for that long.
Yeah.
Waiting for him to get back. And not knowing if Rick is going to come back alive or not.
Yeah, and he says something like, we're all wondering what we did on our little trip, or something like that, right? Yeah, but you're right. Like, all these dudes are standing around just waiting for that many hours? I'd be like, dude, where the fuck is this?
It was probably an hour at most, I would think.
No, they drove off in the dark. Look at the angle of this light beam right here,
It doesn't take long to...
It takes more than an hour. 2.5 hours minimum.
Okay.
All right. Crashing through that big pile of logs. That took up some time.
A lot of time passed.
Yeah. So at least they're relieved to see that Rick's still alive, though, and they're like, "Oh fuck!" And he makes him get back into this line. And Eugene, of course, smart, made himself comfortable. Carl, not so smart. And he's telling him, James, what's he saying?
He says something along the lines of, "Rick, you know what that ride was about? That ride was because of the way you look at me. You look at me like someone just like, what did he say? Like that I took a dump in your oatmeal or something.
I pooped in your scrambled eggs.
Yeah, there you go.
Or dump or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
So he said that, and he said, I don't like that look. You're not looking at me the right way.
Yeah.
So he brings out another test for Rick, and he looks over at Carl and says, "You. Come over here."
Right. That's a little bit, yeah. So let's get up to that part, because there's the dead people, and oh man, Maggie's feeling bad. Yeah. So there's where he tells Carl to come over. Carl's like, "Oh shit," and everybody's starting to go, "Oh
yeah."
fuck.
Before that, he does give a line saying, "Put guns to the back of everyone's head. Make sure you line it up at nose level. So if you have to shoot, it's going to make a real mess."
Oh, that's nice.
And then he calls over Carl.
Yeah. And this is him going, Carl, coughed. And Rick's like, "Oh, don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare, man. That's my son. He's got great hair. He's got too good a hair to die. Mick Jagger himself would be jealous of his hair." And Carl, of course, has to comply. What else can he do? Look at this crazy old psycho murder mountain man killer he's got here. And this guy, of course, wearing some sort of magic amulet that keeps dragons away. There he is, and he pulls off his belt, which oftentimes that's very horrifying when the crazy man starts doing that. But it didn't feel sexual, luckily.
He asked him, "Are you a southpaw?"
Yeah. He goes, "What's that?"
Yeah, very defiantly he says, "What's that?" as though he's not afraid of this man.
Yeah, he's doing that teenager boy thing where you're trying to act tough because what else you got? What are you going to do? Crumple into a little pile of a wimpy little piece of shit, which is what I would do.
So he says basically, are you a left-hander?
Are you a left-hander? And now we're thinking, oh, crap.
Says no. So he says, okay, good. So he ties it around his left arm.
Yeah, and he's like, sorry if that hurts. He's like, it doesn't, right?
It's supposed to.
Yeah, it's supposed to. So, tourniquet, right? I mean, that's what we're thinking there with the thing, and that's obviously horrifying. And of course, there's Trevor from GTA 5.
Or as we know his name in this show is the right-hand man...
Lenny. Simon, of course.
And we see T-Dog's back.
Wait, T-Dog, is that? Oh, that's the one guy?
No, T-Dog. No, it wasn't T-Dog. It was, I think it was Tyrone who always wore the knit caps.
Yeah, the knit cap, and that was the guy that had the giant hammer.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorites.
He was a great character.
I loved him.
It sucks that he's gone.
Yeah, totally. So, but this guy's also in Westworld, so good for him. He's getting a lot of work. That's him. He was just applying on, that's an applicator for a tampon. So, there he goes, putting it in.
No, so basically, Negan says, give me a pen, a marker, a Sharpie or something.
Yeah. Oh, not a tampon.
Not a tampon.
Yeah.
No.
So Negan that's the cap. He pulls it out of his mouth. I got you to say tampon, James, but you didn't know you'd swear.
There's nothing wrong with that word. It's a product.
The T word. Oh yeah. All right. So Rick's like, oh fuck, and then we all kind of can tell what's going on here. And he takes Carl and he draws a line on his arm. It's the slowness and the deliberation that's also so scary about this fucking maniac. Does a good job though, pretty good straight line. And Rick goes to him, don't. He goes, please don't.
Yeah, Rick can't take it anymore.
He's just like begging. He's like, please don't do this. And he goes, ha 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 ha, I'm not doing it. Silly Rick, you're doing it. You are gonna cut off his arm.
Or else
I will kill everybody.
That's why the guns are pointed to the back of everyone's head.
Yeah. So he goes, I'm gonna kill everybody, and then I'm gonna cut off I'm gonna kill Carl, and then you're gonna die in 2 or 3 years. We're going to keep you alive so you can think it through or something like that. And Rick's like, oh no, he's really got me this time. Michonne's going, no, fuck, dude, that suck. What the fuck are you? She's like, we'll stop. She's like, we get it. Get it. She's trying to acquiesce and, someone at least should fucking speak up a little.
Yeah, and he says, you get it. But Rick here doesn't, because Rick is still looking at me the way he did before our ride.
Yeah. Yeah, so Rick is kind of going in this intense thing, and he goes, all right, fine, I'm going to count, right? And he's like, 3, 2, and I might be jumping, I hope I'm not jumping too far ahead. But anyway, he starts to count. Obviously, the tension's building. What's going to happen? What were you thinking? Were you expecting, how were you thinking this might resolve?
I was thinking that it was a test where once he raised his arm, Negan would grab his arm and say something like... I might be a jerk, but I'm not a monster. Something like that. I would think he would do something that would show that he's a more complex character than just a pure bloodlusting monster.
Yeah.
To use the monster word again.
No, you can use the word again twice. That's no problem. All right.
But this is really the scene where you can see the character of Rick finally breaking.
Yeah, because
he's got no way out.
Well, he's doing the math. I mean, he's going, either everybody dies and I get tortured for 2 years, or I cut off my son's arm. And Negan even goes, give it a 45-degree angle so we have some skin to fold over.
Cut it like salami.
Yeah, it needs to be like salami. You got to have a really sharp axe. It's got to be pretty sharp. But and
he says, we got a really good doctor. He'll be okay. Probably.
Yeah, probably. And so, but Rick he's got no choice. You got to cut off his arm, I guess. I mean, because if he attacks Negan, everybody dies. If he tries to escape, everybody probably die. The very best outcome is maybe one of them survives a giant fight or something, but that's not going to happen. So he decides, okay, this is where he tells him he's going to start counting. He starts counting, and he's going, ah! Oh yeah, we saw a big, cool nose booger bubble. Yeah. I didn't get a screenshot of that.
He's pretty much put Rick in the most horrific situation he can possibly do. No human being could take this much at this point.
Yeah, this is something that would break anybody, really. And so Rick goes, and Carl, of course, what a good sweetie. He goes, Dad, do it. Just do it, right? Just to get it over with.
Just do it.
Just don't mess up my hair.
Yeah, he understands the consequences of Rick disobeying at this point. Yeah. Everyone dies. Yeah. And Rick, and I mean, Negan has made the point that he will do extreme measures. He will do it.
Yeah, he's proven that this is for real. He's not bluffing. And Carl, of course, is a survivor. Look at this under here. There's no eyeball. He got shot in the face. So, and he's an apocalypse teen, which we call millennials. So Rick goes, oh, he kind of goes crazy and he grabs his arm. I did think it was telling in this moment where Carl's hand kind of moved around. You know what I mean? Like it's like he doesn't, your body would naturally just like push back and resist and fight a little. But of course he raises his arm and there's the axe. It looks pretty. And Negan stops him, and Rick is relieved. because this is really where the snap happened. I mean, right in that moment where he decided to do it. And he's given, this is the look, and that's where, what's his face, Negan goes, that's the look I wanted to see.
Yeah, and he makes him say certain things. He's like, you are mine. You belong to me. You will provide for me.
Yeah. Say it out loud.
Yeah, say it.
Say it. James, say fuck.
No.
Say it.
No.
Say it. Say you are mine.
You are mine.
Oh, shit, I'm James's. Fuck.
Hey.
Damn.
But,
foiled again.
But he's completely destabilized, destroyed, broken Rick in front of his group.
Yeah, completely psychologically
in front of his son, in front of the people that have looked at him as a leader.
Yeah.
So he's done it.
Also, Rick has shown he's willing to go pretty far. I mean, you got to cut off your own kid's arm. I mean, just the ability to do that is crazy. So, yeah, everybody's just sort of stunned. I mean, we get a lot of reaction shots in this episode where just people are just kind of freaked out. Fill in what he says here, James. The dialogue is gone from my head, man. Maggie's feeling shitty. Daryl,
at this point, I think he says something like to Daryl's like, get him in the wagon or get him in the truck, because not to forget, yes, he killed Glenn because of what Daryl did, but he's still not in good graces with Daryl because Daryl clocked him in the face.
Yes, yeah, and Daryl also is worth restraining. He's a loose cannon. He's strong. He's more of a threat. Which also, killed a big bruiser, red-faced man because he's also a big, strong guy.
So what he's saying here now is that, okay, this has been a productive day. We've done a lot of stuff here. We've drawn the line in the sand. So you're going to provide. We're going to check in on you in one more week. And just to make sure you stay in line, we're going to keep Daryl at our place. Right. And if you so much as disobey us, we'll send you pieces of him, or better yet, we'll make you come over and carve the pieces off him yourself. Yeah.
So they've got Daryl's collateral, and they're also this dominant force. I mean, we'll see a shot of the group later, but I mean, look at these. Who could take on one of these big bruisers? It's not fair to that guy. And then he's like, "Oh man, that was my last tampon." And then he's like, "All right, we're all the shit James just said." Yeah. Rick is broken. Negan's feeling pretty good. This is this is pretty standard management training, good management technique. Just for operating a corporation or a business. Synergy,
team building,
team building. Yeah, it's a remote woodland exercise that gets everybody on the same page.
It's how you get initiated into the Boy Scouts.
Exactly. Yep. Productivity is about to go sky high, and deliverables. That's one of those words the fucking office people use. She's like, oh, fuck you. I bet does she? Yeah, I can't wait for her to chop some heads off. So there's the group. These are the guys. They're pretty full. I thought that guy was working on a vape pen there for a second. But yeah, no, there's a lot of them. And they got their trucks, and Negan is confident. Carl, these are the bods. They're dead. They're gross. So it's all fucked up, and he's walking off. And then this whole sequence actually was interesting. So they all kind of mosey off in their own directions, kind of like please disperse. Commercial break. But then they cut to music. This was sweet. Now, James, I'm good at the part where there's not a lot of dialogue. Music playing in, the camera pulling forward, and but every time they showed somebody, they made sure at least one person walked in front of the camera. I thought it was funny. It's like she's getting blocked. Someone else, there's Michonne. I only got. Oh, I think this is Michonne, but she's behind something.
In a way, it almost shows like they don't care about them anymore. They're just they're down, but they're not the focus of attention anymore. Yeah. There's like we've broken you. Your use is no longer why we're here. Go off and produce for us.
And they all just casually stroll around. But what's funny about the casual strolling is that it requires that the aimlessness of the dispersal is. Like, they would have just gone to their cars. I mean, I guess they'd go in different directions. I don't know. I'm trying to parse it out.
They do kind of mill around a bit. And there was one thing that you pointed out that I was going to miss. And I'm really glad that you pointed it out. Oh. So it's the camera. Do you have a screenshot of that?
Yeah, that's coming up. That's in a little bit later. I'm pretty sure I got that. So there's Sasha. She's fucking. There's Aaron. He's all wigged out. Carl's not feeling bad. Oh boy, he got smoky. Smoky? Smoky.
Smoky.
I got smog and smoke mixed up. There's Sasha behind him.
Yep.
There she is. She's not feeling good. And Maggie's, of course, is having a real hard time. There he is. That's the camera.
Yeah, and so you recall in the last season when they raid the outpost where they forced Glenn to actually take a human life, which was very difficult for him to do, especially since they were killing people in their sleep. Yeah. There was Polaroids on the wall next to one of the bunks showing all these bodies with their heads smashed in. Yeah. And apparently they do this kind of thing often. This is what they do to new groups, to new people that they initiate into the Saviors. or they abduct and force into servitude.
So it's not just one guy's wacko hobby.
Yeah, this is something that's... the characters that we've grown with and learned to love are now just numbers and pictures on a wall of trophies.
Right.
Which is hard to swallow. That's horrible.
Yeah, yeah. And so there's Rick, and the guy walks off with the camera, and we're good to go. Boom, they're left alone. They're just totally devastated. They've got 2 dead bodies. They're all fucked up. Carl's just wondering what the hell his old man almost chopped off his arm. Yeah. Maggie starts climbing up, though. She starts standing and staggering around, and they're like, Maggie, what are you doing, Maggie? And she's like, I gotta go. I gotta take care of... I don't know what she was she trying to leave, but she also wanted to drag Glenn with her?
What she was saying was that she's got to get to... Was it Hilltop to get to the doctor?
Yeah.
That was the whole reason they were out there, because she was pretty much on death's door because she needed to go get medicine so she wouldn't die, the baby could survive, and so forth. That was the whole reason for their excursion through the woods to get there.
Yeah.
So she's saying that what we need to do is I need to get to Hilltop. I'll go myself. I'll get myself there. And what you guys need to do is you all need to go back to Alexandria because we need to gather our forces and we need to fight them.
Right. That's right. Yeah. She's like, go get all the guns. We're going to get them. And Rick's like, we can't.
Yeah, it's almost like a point. She's tired of mourning now. She's a stronger person. She wants to fight. She's not going to take this sitting down.
I agree with what you're saying, but tired of more. I think she's just in shock, and she's having responses that range from grief and anger. Well, she's
been through more than any other character in this whole show.
That's true, but her husband just got his fucking head smashed.
She saw her father's head get cut off.
I know. I'm just saying, like, literally an hour to 2 hours ago, or whatever. It's not mourning. She's not done mourning. Tired. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Tired of mourning. I don't know why I'm trying to quibble with that. That's stupid. I'm sorry. I take it back. Say fuck.
Too late.
Fuck. Damn it. So there he goes. He's like, we can't. Rick is just like, we're not going to beat them. He's like, there's so many of them.
They have an army.
They have an army, and like we don't have shit. We got to go bury this guy. We're going to have to order 5.5 foot tall coffins.
Yeah. So basically saying that she wants to take Glenn's body, but he's saying he was our family too.
Yeah.
Don't do this. Let us take care of it.
And she's in no condition to, 1, travel by herself, and 2, carry around her husband's fucked up dead body while she's trying to get to somewhere by herself. But she's obviously overwhelmed and freaking out in a little bit. And Eugene was back there crying like a little bitch, like he always is.
And they're making it clear they're not going to leave her alone. They're not going to do what she says. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and Eugene's going, I lost my mullet comb. They stole my mullet comb. And so she's like, we're not going to leave you. We're and that's right. Rick is like, he's our family. Just like James already said. So, man, it was tough though. It was intense. What an episode. We're still got a few more shots to get through. This is where. So they're cutting from the group gathering around Redbeard's, Redface's body, and then Glenn's body.
Yes.
And she's obviously kind of squatted over the guy, and Carl comes up, and Maggie freaks out. Aaron doesn't know what to do. Nobody knows what to do. Rick is just like, man, do I have something on my face? He goes, it hurts here, not here. Here. Oh, sorry, that's Chris Farley, Tommy Boy, everybody.
It kind of looks like the map of the U.S. if you look at it.
Yeah, I was thinking it looks like a guitar. Like there's a guitar.
If you get rid of that little thing going over the nose.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, totally. Charade! Oh, you're saying this is Florida? This is like Maine or Massachusetts.
There's Texas sticking out of the bottom.
Texas, that's California. So we live in his ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when we get earthquakes. It's because he is having ear farts. So, these two kind of reconnect, I guess. I mean, they both like the guy, and I don't know. They cared for him. And Eugene comes right over and is like, all right, we'll get her out of here.
And those are the 3 characters who meant the most to Abraham and to whom Abraham meant the most.
Yes, and unfortunately, had Abraham lived, his next relationship would have been with Eugene. That would have been his next girlfriend. So his 3 girlfriends pick him up and carry him off. Carl that's Maggie. Carl comes over. Maggie. Nice little human touch moment. Every little human touch moment's good every once in a while. James, you want a hug when we're done?
That's okay.
All right. Offers there. And, it's just intense. And they kind of walk off, and poor Maggie's just left to, stagger around and feel horrible about how the city's going to find them for staining their parking lot. You think that's what she's upset about? No! Big, gross, bloody piles. And so we have this cut. I
was thinking it was a flashback, and then you pointed out something that was really important.
Well, I called it a flash forward, but then I changed it to fantasy forward because Glenn has a little kid, and that would be his child, presumably. And, Glenn ain't around to see no kid get born, and so I'm like, oh, this must be just sort of, you know, they're having a nice time. This is when acting gets fun.
Yeah, are there any other characters at the table that are deceased at this point?
You tell me. There's Carol. That looks like the
Gabriel?
priest. That's Gabriel. This girl, she's Carl's girlfriend. He locked her in a closet. Remember that? Yeah. Eugene's mullet is looking pretty snazzy. Yeah. That guy's got a goatee.
Spencer.
Who's Spencer?
The guy with the beard, I think, next to Eugene.
Next to Eugene. Oh, that's Spencer. You knew the name of that guy? Wow, that's good. That's good. This is the guy with the big pretzel. Morgan, yeah. That's Rosita. She's hot as shit. Yeah, she's cool too. I like her. She Tara. She was pregnant. The actress was?
I think the actress was, but from a storyline perspective, she wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, and of course Daryl's like, I don't eat no fucking salad. Get the shit away from me. I'll pass it along.
Where's my possum?
Yeah. I drink a rat shit smoothie. All right,
so actually, who is that?
The little girl?
Yeah,
I don't know who
is that. Is that supposed to be Sophia?
I guess so.
Maybe not. I mean, there's a lot of little kids.
This looks like Rick's head here. You can tell because he's British.
Yeah.
So, all right.
But yeah, so this is kind of an emotional scene of what could have been.
Right, what could have been. Overgrown lawn here. That's a good apocalypse. That's the best part about the apocalypse. You don't got to mow. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they're having a nice time. Who's this lady? Oh, yeah, we've seen her before, right? I don't know. Whatever. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep going. James, we're near the end here. Oh, Glenn, we miss you already, pal.
That's the last shot we'll see of Glenn.
That's right. Yeah, unless they rebuild his head like a puzzle, like the world's most complicated 3D puzzle. I found one. His eye was over here. So Rick's leaving, and he sees a zombie kind of come crawling out, and he kind of looks at him and he goes like, fuck it, I'll do it. That's how I remember with silverfish sometimes when they're in my house. I go, I don't have the energy to get the vacuum out. I'll just fucking hope it doesn't land on my face while I'm just go back to sleep. So, look at these cool handprint things, drag it down on the thing. I thought that was a nice touch. Dirty old RV. Rick's watching the guy, and drives off. It's in the RV. It's been a nightmare. He finally gets to leave, and the guy kneels down to the bloody mess, which is is
like an emotional twisting of the knife.
Yeah,
seeing that a filthy zombie gets a piece of the characters we cared about.
And that the world just kind of keeps churning on with the same insanity that they've all been barely surviving since the episode 1. So Rick, close up on his eyes again. Blue eyes, red blood, white skin, gray mottled mustache, and scene. That's it. We finished. So James, real quick, did you like the episode?
I liked the episode because this entire point of this episode was to create the Negan character, and it did it.
Okay.
It did it wonderfully.
So you're not disappointed at all with the Negan in the show?
No, I was worried that they were going to sugarcoat it too much, that they weren't going to add the emotional punch that was needed to really give rise to this new character.
Yeah.
And they went further than I even thought they would.
Oh, really?
So this is good. I mean, they can't have him do his F-bomb tirades. They can't do certain things with him, but they established him really well.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I didn't know what it was supposed to be like or whatever, but I definitely am intrigued. When they establish a new enemy, a new bad guy, like the governor or something, although Negan could use an eye patch, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Or 2 eye patches. If 1 eye patch is scary, 2 eye patches is really scary. So, but I definitely am like, oh man, how are they going to get out of this? Let's gameplay what they might have. So they're expected to bring resources, so food and weapons. I mean, the things that are useful, but they're obviously going to somehow try to fight back. They're obviously going to somehow... isn't Carol out there running around or something?
Yeah.
She'll turn up. She's not out of the show, right? So they'll encounter her. More than likely, there'll be some reconciling with Daryl and that guy with the pizza face. I'm just sort of trying to imagine... I mean, they're really in a horrible position here. They don't have a lot of options.
And if I had to guess what was going to happen next, it would be that Maggie wants to fight. Rick is not someone who gives up too easily, so he may have been broken and subservient at this point, but in the back of his mind, he's always going to think, how can we overcome this? How can we get away? How can I be the leader again and protect my people?
Yeah.
So who were the people that we saw in the last season? We know Alexandria. We know Hilltop. Remember the people in like the hockey gear? That had spears?
They had horses too.
Yes,
right?
They were from a place called the Kingdom.
Okay, so Carol encountered them.
Yes.
Right? just to help other people.
I believe
remember.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So perhaps in the next couple episodes, we're going to see Rick's group start reaching out to them, saying, "Can Alexandria, the Kingdom, and whatever allies they have around band together and fight back against the Saviors?"
Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm so glad you reminded me of that. Yeah. These two dudes. They looked like armored.
Yeah, because we can't.
Stuff.
The story can't go on with Rick being the next Dwight to Negan. That's not what the story is.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a whole different show.
Yeah. The group that we've been following does not end that way.
So they're going to gather resources, meaning like they're going to find other allies, and they're going to put together some sort of army force. But there's going to be some kidnappings. Yeah. There's going to be some late night raids, probably.
Right. They're going to build more pylons, create more warriors, and then they're going to Zerg rush.
Is that what video? Are you talking about StarCraft?
Yes, that was a combination of different units.
Jesus,
that was. You got to go back to the video game thing sometimes.
Yeah, Protoss and Terran and Zergs. Yeah, man, of course.
Who
the fuck you think you're talking to? And but Rick is also going to head back to those stains in the gravel and take a sip for himself to see what it tastes like.
Yes. So that's another thing that we forgot to talk about. What was that one line where? What did Negan call his bat after he went to town on Glenn?
Lucille.
But how did he describe Lucille? He goes, "She's bloody. She's thirsty. She's a vampire bat."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a horrific, humorous line at a horrible point.
Yeah, that's not bad. I would have said, "She's like a blood-soaked baseball bat."
Descriptive.
So, okay, cool. Yeah, man, it was good. I'm excited. I'm really curious. So there'll be some new characters too, probably, I guess. So anyway, we don't need to keep belaboring the points. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We hope you are enjoying our recaps. People are enjoying our Westworld recaps. Now that Walking Dead's out, it's like twice as much work, which sucks. But if you do enjoy it, like, subscribe, look for our other TV show stuff, and check out some of our video game content. Real quick, James, are you going to get a Band-Aid for that arm?
Eventually.
Because that's honestly it's making me nervous. I'm gonna have to go get me a weapon, and I'll be having. We're gonna deal with this. We're gonna deal with this. I'm gonna get you to Hilltop, and you are gonna have that baby, and we're gonna name it Hank, or James. Maybe we'll name it Jank, or Hames. We'll name it Hames. Good night, James. Say fuck.
No.
Say fuck.
Nope.
Fucking say fuck.
You won't break me.
Fuck. Negan.